What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We are back here once again, and you already know what time it is. It is that time to bust that rhyme because it starts to chime, and it starts to slime. And when it slimes, it rhymes, and when it rhymes, it chimes. You already know what it is. When you see me front your TV, one thing is for certain, and three things are for sure. Number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats, none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. Want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P? Does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'll tell you. I don't keep nothing from you. You got to smash the like button, subscribe, and share with your peoples. And once you've done those three things in any order you've done them in, you've indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since we're talking about sharing, and sharing is caring, once you shared this with your mothers, your brothers, your fathers, sisters, cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your fathers, sisters, your mothers, your fathers, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people. Yes, you have indeed cared about the people that you love. You cared about your loved ones. We got some things that we're going to get into today. And if you stick around, we might just do a little mock draft. See what we got going on here. But we got some things to get into today. And we got updates on Terrion. We got some updates on Max Crosby. We got some updates. We got some things that we need to talk about. What y'all want to talk about first? We're going to talk about Terrion first. I think we're going to talk about Terrion first. Let's go ahead and talk about Terrion. Terrion's lawyer has released a statement. Now, we knew this was coming. There's some things that I'd like to point out about this statement. And while I'm reading the statement with you guys, I will point those things out. Because just going to do a little bit of reading between the lines. Now, if it turns out that reading between the lines was not necessary, then that means that the way that this was crafted was not as good as it could have been. All right. And when someone is representing me in a legal matter, I need you to do it as good as you can do it. You got to do your best. But here we go. So this comes from Five Goats by Alex Byington, I believe. Terrion Arnold's attorney denies any involvement in South Florida armed robbery kidnapping case. An attorney for Detroit Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold reportedly denied his client had any involvement in an ongoing armed robbery and kidnapping case currently working its way through the South Florida legal system, according to a statement released by TMZ Sports producer Michael Babcock. I represent Mr. Terrion Arnold in connection with an incident that allegedly occurred on February 4th, 2026 in Tampa, Florida, which resulted in the arrest of 5 individuals on serious felony charges. The statement read via Babcock, to be clear, Mr. Arnold had no involvement whatsoever in the activities that led to those arrests. He did not participate in, nor was he present for, any conduct related to the alleged offenses. There is no evidence in police reports, text messages, or witness statements that implicates Mr. Arnold in any way. All right, so before we get into the full statement, I would just like to point out some things. It says, to be clear, Mr. Arnold had no involvement whatsoever in the activities that led to those arrests. He did not participate in, nor was he present for, any conduct related to the alleged offenses. It doesn't say that he wasn't in the car when it was being planned. I'm just saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Okay, I'm just poking the holes in the statement. It doesn't say that he was not involved in the planning of the events, because that's what's being alleged. No one is saying that Terrion was there. No one's saying that Terrion pistol whipped anybody. No one is saying that Terrion did anything on that evening, even though they said in the text messages he was supposed to show up there, which would have been really dumb. Glad that didn't happen. But the allegations are not about him actually kidnapping or beating anyone. His alleged involvement in the incident is planning. That's the alleged involvement. And we have this lawyer not denying that part. Are we going to have any what up though frog cop? I forgot to say what up though to everybody in the chat. What up though to the people who are lurking, who are working and twerking and smirking. And if you're doing anything else that rhymes with working or lurking, I don't want to hear about it. It's kind of freaky and it's also dangerous. So, illegal. All right. So let's get to the full statement. Okay. So we said that he wasn't involved in any way. In fact, after direct communication with the lead prosecutor, it has been confirmed that no charges have been filed against Mr. Arnold in connection with this matter. We know that no charges have been filed. You see what I mean? The language that's being used here is kind of strange. Oh, he wasn't involved with the activities at all. He wasn't present. He didn't do none of that stuff at that house during that 2 hours or however long it was. But they didn't say he didn't plan it. They didn't say he wasn't a part of the plan. Also, after communication with the lead prosecutor, it has been confirmed that no charges have been filed against Mr. Arnold in connection with this matter. That, my friends, I used to be an English teacher. Let me get teachy with you for a bit. That, my friends, is what's called the present perfect. Up until this point, from an undefined time in the past, okay, we know that this allegedly happened on February 4th. But from February 4th up until this time, there have been no charges filed. That means that we are still in the time period where this is ongoing and there could be charges filed. I hope that there are no charges filed. I do not want there to be any charges filed. I'm just poking holes in this statement. Okay? So present perfect, we didn't use past simple. If he would have said after communication with the lead prosecutor, it has been confirmed that there were no charges filed, would mean that this thing was closed. What he needs to say is this. In fact, after direct communications with the lead prosecutor, it has been confirmed that no charges will be filed against Mr. Arnold in connection with this matter. If he would have said will be, right, because up until now there haven't been, and in the future there will not be, then it's a nothing burger and we can go on about our day. But unfortunately, he did not say that for whatever reason. This matter has not gone away. Not just yet. Hopefully it does, but not just yet. All right. Recent media coverage has referenced an order issued by Circuit Judge J. Logan Murphy, which improperly suggests Mr. Arnold's involvement in the incident. That same order also incorrectly identifies Ms. DeVale as Mr. Arnold's girlfriend. Both assertions are false, misleading, and entirely unsupported by the record. Mr. Arnold categorically denies these unfounded claims and maintains his complete innocence. He was not involved in the crimes allegedly committed on February 4th, 2026 in Tampa, Florida. We strongly urge members of the media to refrain from perpetuating inaccurate or speculative narratives. The facts are clear, and they do not support any claim of wrongdoing by Mr. Arnold. Okay. That was a lot. What up, Zach J? That was a lot to say. But still, there was not a 100% denial, right? There was a denial of wrongdoing, but there was no denial of wrongdoing. Hold on. Well, that sucks. Indeed, that sucks. There was a denial of wrongdoing as far as being involved with the actual events that happened on that night. But again, there was no denial about being part of the planning committee. So let's hope that that was just an oversight instead of a purposeful omission. Let's just hope that. Terrion Shaggy Arnold, it wasn't me. All right. So again, let's hope that Terrion didn't do any of those things. Let's hope that it is true when he says he had absolutely no involvement, and that would include even the planning of the situation. Let's hope that those things are true. All right. Let's get on to Max Crosby. Let's get on to Max Crosby, the man on the thumbnail. As might I add, that might be one of the coldest thumbnails I've made so far, especially with this new thumbnail format. It might be one of the coldest I made. You guys let me know what you think. All right. Combine Buzz. This is from Detroit Lions on SI, the doc, friend of the show, John Macaron, you know him. All right, Combine Buzz. How Lions trading for Max Crosby hit roadblock. The Detroit Lions' efforts to trade for Max Crosby have hit a roadblock at the NFL Scouting Combine. According to many in league circles, Detroit general manager Brad Holmes was more than willing to be aggressive, but you have to define it first. What does that mean? Define aggressive. To meet the trade demands of the Las Vegas Raiders, which included parting ways with 2 first-round draft picks. League sources express the recent developments with cornerback Terrion Arnold will likely put a pause on Detroit's willingness to part ways with early round picks, as the team may now need to use one on a cornerback in the not too distant future. Detroit's entire coaching staff and front office were in agreement that adding Crosby would have been a move that would instantly put the team in serious contention to win the Super Bowl. So everyone was in agreement. Both Holmes and Dan Campbell expressed during their media availabilities this week the team would keep an open mind for a splash trade. I think it's a disservice to be fixed and closed off on anything that can help the football team, Holmes told reporters. Obviously, with what you're weighing for the future and the right now, bottom line is we have to make those kinds of decisions to make sure that we're in the appropriate, let's call it, window from a financial standpoint to make the moves that we want to make. But I thought there were no windows, Brad. There are no windows in this room. Is this where you trap your victims? Okay. Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. The former Los Angeles Rams director of college scouting was even asked more directly if the team would consider making a splash move or signing. We're just going to do what's best for our football team, which we always have. That's always a subjective lens in terms of what we want to do, in terms of maybe what some others may think, but we're just going to do the best thing possible, said Holmes. There's nothing that we restricted ourselves on in terms of, well, we're not going to do this because we want to do this. So we're being very open-minded. That's not the end of it. I'll get to the end of it, but there's some things that I need to address first. If trading for Max Crosby puts you directly into a Super Bowl window, and that was agreed upon by the front office, the head coach, the GM, everybody, then how does whatever is going on with Terrion stop that? How does whatever is going on with Terrion prevent your pursuit of Max Crosby? You couldn't simply sign Jamel Dean, or so you need to draft a corner. I don't know how many times that Brad Holmes can sit up here and tell you that, oh, we we're not restricting ourselves. We're doing whatever is we need to do for our team. Well, when you draft Tesla in the 3rd round and you use 3 third-round picks to do it, that doesn't really seem like what's best for your team. He could turn out to be the next Puka Nacua, and that would be great. But you know what would also be great? A defense. Because if you have a defense, then you don't need another Puka Nacua. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you've got Jameson Williams, you got Khalif running across the middle, doing screens and slants or whatever, if she actually ever throws it. Right? Hold on. All right. So I don't see how any of that correlates. I got it. Now you need draft capital because you feel that you have to draft a corner that didn't play much last year, a corner that has missed 10 games over the last 2 seasons, a corner that you don't even know. I mean, you see the talent and you see the technique and the ability, but you don't really know 100% that he's going to turn into what he needs to turn into. A corner whose defensive coordinator said, I just need him to be quiet and play. This is the guy who's holding up Max Crosby. Sometimes I feel like Brad Holmes is just being a capologist. I don't feel like this makes any sense. I was ready, willing, and able. I was ready, willing, and able to trade for Max Crosby, but when that thing went down with Terrion Arnold, I said, no, wait, hold up, wait, stop the tape. I live the fast life. I only stop for cake, like, whoa. And I've got to stop because the cake doesn't make sense here. The cake doesn't make sense, says Brad Holmes, the general manager of the Detroit Lions. What say you? It doesn't make any sense. I don't see how it works, bro. We're ready, willing, and able to give you 2 first-round picks if that's your asking price. What? Terrion got in trouble? Yeah, about that. We're gonna go ahead and void that. We're not gonna do it. So now Max Crosby is in the car, heading to the airport, thinking he's about to be a Detroit Lion. And they tell him you gotta get back on the tarmac. So Do with that what you will. All right. What else needed to be addressed here? There was lots of combine talk, but Aaron Glenn missed it. He's sleepy like me. Well, I've been up since so early. Did not get a whole lot of sleep. All right. What was the next part of this that I wanted to address? I think I addressed it because you're talking about all unanimous, this, that, and the third thing. Brad Holmes is sitting up here telling you that we haven't restricted ourselves from doing anything, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you can say that you haven't restricted yourself from doing anything when you've never done anything. He's never given up multiple first round picks for a player. He's never done that. Makes me wonder if they are serious about a Super Bowl. If they are, they better put their big boy pants on. Facts. I just don't. I don't know how you can sit there and say that we haven't restricted ourselves from doing anything, but you stood there and did nothing at the trade deadline this year. The year that we went to the NFC Championship game and, people were pounding the table for Chase Young. I wasn't necessarily pounding the table for Chase Young, but it was a cheap trade and you could have done it and you could have got someone on the other on the opposite side of Hutch. It's hard for me to believe you when you say that you are just saving money for whatever's coming down the pike. You just haven't done these things. You haven't made the splashes. Every time someone talks to you about a splash, you say some cockamamie bullcrap like, oh, when you say splash, you're thinking about name recognition, yada, yada, yada. And so you're saying that you haven't closed yourself off, but you haven't done anything. You had opportunities to go get someone and you never went and got anybody. You got Hutch and you rested on your laurels and you're like, cool, we don't need to get him a running mate. But per a source that I have, it's kind of a possibility for them to get one this evening. This evening is crazy. I told you I'm tired. What up, though, Lamico Cardenas? What's going on, my guy? 1 second. So yeah, let's finish this article. We good? We have Davenport. Oh, I hope we don't have him. Like we said, there's going to be what do we call it? The crash and port episode. He says, look, when you go through what we went through last year, like I spoke of at the end of the season, you don't have a choice but to have those long, hard looks and be very open-minded to make sure that you're looking at every possible avenue to improve the football team. I don't know how you're looking at every possible avenue, but you're saying, oh, I was just about to trade for you. But what had happened was Terrion Arnold got into a little bit of a mess. So we had to use our 2 first-round picks to clean it up. That's crazy. It is believed that Crosby would have met the criteria for the team to make a bold move, given what he has accomplished in his career. If it aligns where the splash, money, and player all meet because it's worthy of that on the tape, then absolutely. But then if you do that, you're out on everything else, said Campbell. So the competition depth, the quality depth, that would suffer. So is it worth it? Well, not the way y'all practice, right? Not the way y'all practice and do things. By the time Max Crosby gets into the building, he'll be injured. And then you'll be scrambling because you have so many injuries. So if you ask me that question, Dan, no, it's not worth it. You know? That's the juggling act that Brad and I constantly go through, that we think through. Campbell commented further. What is right? What should we do? What can we do? Do we have the resources? All of those conversations we've had, we continue to have, and they're all good. They make you go through this whole process of figuring out what's the best way to get our team a little bit better, man, and get over the hump. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of talk. Not a lot of action. It's a lot of talk. I mean, I can't believe that you're sitting up here talking about a Super Bowl contention and a Super Bowl window and all of these things. All of these things are available, but you couldn't do it because Terrion Arnold. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Even better, we have Levi and Pascal. Oh my goodness. Can we trade Levi and Pascal and give them only one first rounder? Well, they're premium, right? They're good guys. Throw Terrion in there too. Well, then, so that doesn't work because it's Terrion who's holding all of this up. Well, maybe now that his lawyer has come out and said he's had nothing to do with it and he's categorically denied it and said it was false and these are just baseless accusations, and Terrion's like, I don't know them people, man. I don't know why this chick is saying she's my girlfriend. I never met her before. She must follow me on Twitch. She must be watching my live streams and going, ooh. And then she concocted this plan at the same time that I was going to be out there. Right. That makes so much sense. But since all of that happened and everything is clear, because through communication with the prosecutor, the lead prosecutor, it's been clear that no charges have been filed. So that means that Brad Holmes is free to move on with his plans for the offseason because Terrion's going to be there. 100%. It's crazy. It's very, very crazy. All right, y'all ready for a mock draft? Are y'all ready for a mock draft? Are you ready for a mock draft? A mock drafting party. Let me see. All right, let's see. Nope. me see. Hmm. Oh, okay. So I'm already registered, but I don't. What's my password? I forgot my password. Hold on. All right. Well, we'll just make up another account. Actually, let me use this other account. Let me see if this works. Aha, okay, that one works. All righty. Uh, all right, let's create. Let's go with this mock draft here. Uh, did we not fix this with the choosing of the team? Mm. What up, though, Robert Stevens? Says hard to see through the fog of this offseason. Hold on, let me see. Because I probably already picked my team. Let's see here. Let's see if it goes the way that I'm thinking. Mm-mm-mm. Just checking to see if it gets there. All right. Is it coming up? Nope. All right. Let's see what happened here. Um, yeah, I don't even know what happened there, bro. Let me see. Let me grab this here. All right, let me do something else. While I try to fix that one. I just got to make a little update. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Let me do the be right back thing. All right, we back. Just giving it a little bit of an update very quickly, and then we will be back to doing our mock draft. So let us talk about something else that's up here. Let's see. Something else I wanted to get to, which is all right. Here we go. NFL prospects modeling their game after Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. This is from Detroit Lions on SI, and this is Emmett Matasovsky. I've never heard of Emmett Matasovsky. I guess welcome to the Detroit Lions on SI family. I guess you're new. I don't know. I've never seen anything from you. All right. On Thursday, the NFL Combine rolled on as defensive backs took center stage with the media, with questions rolling in about who prospects model their game after. Many of the safeties cited Detroit's dominant duo of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph as some of the players they model their game after. Nebraska's Deshaun Singleton also listed his ideal secondary that he could start alongside, and it saw him and Branch paired at safety with J.C. Horn and Pat Surtain II at cornerback. That would be unfair. This dude is over here trying to make a Madden roster. Yeah, that I don't even think the NFL would allow that one. How do you do that? How do you even do that? Um, let's see. When asked about what it would be like to play with Branch, Singleton was quick to add that he would love to play with both Branch and Joseph. Oh, so he didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to leave Kirby out. It would be great to play alongside him, Singleton said, because I obviously watch his game, and his game is probably one of my favorite that I watch film on. It would be great playing alongside him and Kirby. Arizona's Dalton Johnson was quick to compliment Kirby Joseph's play style, then mentioning Branch. Johnson believes the Lions have some of the best scheme fits for him in the NFL. I love the way Kirby Joseph plays. Him and Brian Branch, the Lions defense, they clash together really well, Dalton Johnson said. So clashing together is not a thing. Things that clash are, they're diametrically opposed. They're opposites. However, all right, we're fixing it. We're updating it. So here's the thing. The optimism from some of these prospects, as if they don't know that neither one of them is playing. And I don't know. Obviously, we seen the picture of Kirby Joseph getting acupuncture in his knee and all these things. So we hope that he's ready to go at the beginning of the season. It's going to be a stretch for Brian Branch to be ready to go at the beginning of the season. So maybe that's why a lot of these prospects are saying, oh, yeah, I'd love to play next to Kirby and Brian, because they know that one, if not both of them, are not going to be ready for the beginning of the season. So they know they'll have the opportunity to play. Maybe that's it, because these guys aren't going to be there. Keontae Scott reflected similarly, with the playmaker for the national title runner-up Hurricanes calling it meaningful to play with him hypothetically. Okay, let's read that again. Keontae Scott reflected similarly, with the playmaker for the national title runner-up Hurricanes calling it meaningful to play with him hypothetically. Meaningful to play with him hypothetically. Okay. That is an interesting group of words that were put together there. All right. So he says, Brian Branch is a guy I watch a lot of on tape. Definitely a guy that is very versatile, plays the game the right way, Scott said. It would be meaningful to get out there and play with them. Caleb Downs, the top safety prospect in the NFL draft, listed Brian Branch first when asked to list the top safeties currently in the league before discussing watching film on Branch. No order. I will probably leave someone out. I like watching a lot of safeties, so I will go Brian Branch. I like his game a lot, Downs revealed. Who fits with Detroit? In an ideal world, a player such as Downs would be available when the Lions come calling. However, based on their draft strategy and visits that have taken place throughout the week, the top three safeties of Downs, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, and Dylan Thieneman are likely not being discussed much. However, some names to watch include Texas's Michael Tafe, a coverage star with a walk-on background with the Longhorns. Per Tafe, at the Combine, he met with a few of the Lions coaches and scouts informally during the process. Other meetings at the NFL Combine include Deshaun Singleton, Dalton Johnson, and Oklahoma's Robert Spears-Jennings. Spears-Jennings specifically mentioned meeting with Jim O'Neill, the Lions safety coach and associate head coach. Formally, the Lions have shown interest in TCU's Bud Clark at the Combine. Clark getting a formal visit is a massive key, alongside Detroit showing interest in a number of safeties during this NFL draft cycle. The difference between formal and informal meetings is that teams are only allowed 45 formal meetings per combine, which take about 20 minutes, with team personnel. Informal has no limit, but there is less time in discussion with the players. So if you guys caught that, the top prospects of Caleb Downs. Who else was it? Caleb Downs, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, and Dylan Thieneman are not meeting with the team, or they have not yet met with the team. So I don't know. Do with that what you will. What up, though, Irv Gotti? It's all good. What up, though, Brent DeWitt? It is also all good. I'm trying to do a mock draft, but I had to update something. So hopefully it'll be done in a minute. What would you guys think? What is the, so here's the question. We're gonna have a discussion in the chat. What is the absolute hard pass when you talk about drafting a position in the first round? What is the absolute hard pass? No, we will not accept this. Let me know what you think in the chat. I will not accept a safety. I will not accept a corner. I will not accept a linebacker. I will not accept whatever. What is it that you will not accept? Obviously, it's not going to be edge rusher. It's not going to be anybody. Well, it might be somebody on the defensive line. There might be some people on the offensive line too. I mean, I don't necessarily want them to draft a center. I mean, it's not a non-negotiable. It's not like a hard pass for me. But drafting a center right now, I would draft somebody else. I wouldn't draft a center. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. We'll put it up on the board on the screen, and then we will discuss it. What is the absolute non-starter position? You will not hear anything about it. You will not listen to anything. Obviously, no one is going to draft a kicker, right? No one is drafting a punter. So we can keep those things away. It's easier to say what I would accept, tackle, edge. So you wouldn't accept anything else except for tackle and edge. What happens if you get news about Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch and it's not favorable news? Would you be okay with there being a safety taken? Do not draft the center. Center needs to be experienced. That is a fact. That is a fact. And I'd love to take a center in the third round, but we don't have a third round pick. I wonder why. I wonder why. We have no third round picks. Safety pass, linebacker pass, corner is in play, running back, wide out, tight end pass. So what if the linebacker is Sonny Styles, which obviously you're not going to be able to draft him because especially with his combine performance, he's probably going to be top 5, definitely a top 10 pick. All right, it's almost there. Is there a particular player that you want to see the Lions stay away from? I'm gonna be doing a prospect series, so probably I want to get started today. I may not start today. I may start tomorrow. When there's no show, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I may do it then. So I'm probably going to do it based on the risers and the fallers after the combine is done. So obviously the stuff that's out there now, you've got the measurements, you've got that stuff plus their tape, and you've got all this. So I'll be doing like at least one a day. I'll see how they go. So yeah, I know I haven't done like videos in a while. I know I always do lives, but so be on the lookout for those videos. I have to tell you guys this because if I tell you guys, that means I can't just busy my way out of it. Like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm not gonna do it. Nah. I told you guys I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. Someone slips, all bets are off. If someone slips, all bets are off. Okay. I got it. We need to go into the season expecting TA not going to be ready, have a backup for him. So you think that the shoulder surgery is not going to allow him to start the season? Didn't that happen in like the middle of the season? Interesting. Well, his backup has to come in free agency. You know, his backup is supposed to be Ennis Rakestraw. That's supposed to be the backup plan, but we already know that that's not going to work. Akeem Messidor, the dude will be retired after his rookie contract. Do you need more than 5 years out of a player? I mean, he's going to be 30 after his rookie contract is up. And you could give him a 2 or 3 year extension. I don't know if you need the player for that long. If he can help you get to a Super Bowl, why not? You know, why not get him in here on a cheap, inexpensive rookie deal? And if he plays out his first contract and we win a Super Bowl, it was a great pick. It was a great pick. Do you believe this Crosby stuff is just smoke? From Brad, yes. I believe it's just smoke and mirrors and subterfuge and covert operations. We always hear from Brad about what he tried to do. We never hear from Brad about what he has actually done, unless it's the draft. You know, if it's the draft, then he's woo, woo, all that stuff. Right? That's what we hear. You know what I'm saying? When it's the draft. But if it's to trade market, it's crickets. It's very quiet, right? If it's signing a big name free agent that's going to help the team, it's crickets. It's very quiet. It's silent. So yes, he's always talking about what he tried to do, never what he actually has been able to do. What up, though, Mr. Morale 313? Need a backup for Brian Branch as well. Oh, that definitely needs to happen. And that'll probably happen in the later rounds. I can't say that'll happen in the later rounds. I can't say that It'd be great if we could get one in the third round, but we don't have the picks, so we're gonna have to trade back up to get into the third round, which is crazy. But we're gonna keep doing that as long as Brad Holmes is here. We're gonna keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're and basically we're gonna keep taking from the next year's draft to supplement this year's draft, which is fine. But what's gonna happen is this: if Brad Holmes doesn't get extended after not this coming season, but the next season, because his contract is up in 2027, if he doesn't get extended, then we've taken all those draft picks and we've done nothing with them. Hopefully, some holdovers would be able to do something with the team, but who knows? I just feel like we can continue to use capital on certain positions and continue to ignore others. It's time to address edge and tackle. Oh, no, 100%. I agree with you. The tone of this, like the article that we were talking about with Max Crosby, that I just thought it was ridiculous. It's like, bro, so now you're thinking about a freaking another corner because this guy that you signed or you drafted may have done something illegal, may have done something really, really seriously wrong. He has not been charged. We don't hope that he is charged. But I can't trade for Max Crosby because now I might need this to draft a corner. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's freaking nuts. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we spent too much capital on the corner, on the secondary in and of itself, and we don't have anything to show for it except Kirby and Brian Branch, who are both injured. You understand what I'm saying? So I get exactly the point there. We do need to give some TLC to these other positions. If you're a DB snob, it shouldn't take you 15 drafts to get some damn competent cornerbacks in here. It shouldn't take you 15 drafts and 15 free agent signings and just throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks. Shouldn't take that long. You're a DB snob. Get it done. You know the talent. Right? You know what to look for. You know all the traits. You're a snob, a DB snob. Get some DBs in here. You're taking too long. Poop or get off the pot. And we appreciate that you're here, my brother. This year's fourth and next year's third. Seeing that out of Brad, I mean, and that's what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to dip into next year's stuff to get stuff from this year because we just, when you don't do things the right way, you don't do things the right way. He shouldn't make any moves this year draft wise. They need to keep all their picks from now on. He's gonna pull from next year. That's pretty much a given that he's gonna pull from next year. All right, let's see if this got fixed. All right, I'm not signed in, so that's good. Make sure that this, because we might be in a situation where we got a hard reset. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let me check this. Do. Okay, so that should have been deployed. Okay, there we go. All right, so that works. All right, let's try it over here. It might just be cached. It might just be cached. So let's see. If it's cached on this side. I'm not going to sign in. I'm just going to start the draft. Yeah, it's cached over here. That's crazy. All right. So let me go incognito mode. Let's see if we can pull that up here. Wow, bro. Is it just like cash on this entire machine? All right, let me check. Let me try this window. I've never gone to it from this window. So wow. Okay. So my machine is cached. So that's not gonna work. That's so dumb. My entire machine is cached. All right. So I'll do it right here, right quick. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it. All right. We'll go through real quick, and then I'll tell you who was drafted, and you can tell me who we should pick. I'm gonna just tell you who got drafted, and it's up to y'all to tell me from your knowledge of who is available who we should pick. I mean, we still need CB after drafting Terrion, signing DJ Reed, Rakestraw, letting Carlton walk, Cam Sutton. At this point, I don't even trust Brad to draft one. Facts. That's not snobbish behavior. That's reckless behavior. Whatever trench player at the top of Brad's board, number 17 pick, going away from this has not worked too well, but Gibbs and Campbell. This is true. All right. Okay. All right, y'all can see this, right? Okay. All right, so who we got? Pick number 1 was Fernando Mendoza. Pick number 2 was Spencer Fano. Pick number 3 was Francis Mawinoa. Pick number 4 was Carnell Tate. Pick 5 was Ruben Bain. Pick 6 was Ty Simpson. Quarterback, Alabama, went to the Browns. That's interesting. Number 7 was David Bailey to the Commanders. Number 8 was Jordan Tyson to the Saints. Number 9 was Malachi Lemon to the is it Makai Lemon or Meadowlark Lemon? Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. This is dumb, okay? So 2 receivers went before Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese stays in the state of oh hell no and goes to the Bengals, number 10. Thankfully, Keldrick Falk was drafted by the Dolphins at 11. This is crazy. Caleb Downs goes to the Cowboys at 12. Jermod McCoy goes 13 to the Falcons. I don't know about that one. Cassius Howell goes 14 to the Ravens. Sonny Styles, damn it, goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I've heard that he was not going to get past the Buccaneers. I think he's actually going to go higher than that or sooner than that because of the combine performance. And number 16 is Mansour Delaney. Who do we have left? We have Jeremiah Love, Peter Woods, Kenyon Sadiq, Avion Terrell, Caden Proctor, Vega Ione, Kristen Miller, Caden McDonald, Denzel Boston, Caleb Lamu, TJ Parker, Kevin Concepcion, CJ Allen, Caleb Banks, Brandon Cisse, Colton Hood, Emmanuel Pregnon. Those are the top ranked players left. Jennings Dunker is still there. Monroe Freeling, Akeem Messador, R. Mason Thomas, Romello Height, Anthony Hill Jr., Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Didn't Trinidad Chambers go back to school? The best CB we've had was CD3. To be a CB snob, he hasn't drafted at that position very well, to be honest. No, he hasn't. Last year's D tackle, this year O tackle, Bank. All right, Proctor would be my pick, says Mr. Morale 313. Robert Stevens is not playing along. He says, like every year, Brad will sign backups for all the positions of need, then go to the draft. Maybe this year he could sign one top free agent. Yeah, I doubt it. All right. So we're going to make the pick. Pause. We're going to make the pick. Going once, going twice. Sold, Caden Proctor. We got Caden Proctor, and then the very next pick, the Vikings got Vega Ione. Jeremiah Love went to the Eagles. That's crazy. Akeem Messador went to the Bills. I'm sorry, R. Mason went to the Bills. Akeem Messador went to the Bears. All righty. Okay. So here's what happened. After us, number 18, Vega Ione went to the whatchamacallits, the Vikings. Romello Height went 19 to the Ravens. TJ Parker went to the Packers. Don't like that. Kevin Concepcion, wide receiver, went to the Steelers. Not sure why. Caleb Lamu, offensive tackle out of Utah, went to the Chargers. As I said, Jeremiah Love went to the Eagles. I guess they're about to move on from Saquon. I don't know. Avion Terrell went to the Jaguars. That's AJ Terrell's brother, if you guys didn't know that. R. Mason Thomas went to the Bills. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback. So that one doesn't make sense. Went to the 49ers. The 49ers are not going to draft a quarterback at number 27. For what? This one makes sense. Jennings Dunker goes to the Houston Texans at number 28. They definitely need offensive line help, so that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Trinidad Chambliss, who I don't even think is in the draft anymore. I have to make that adjustment. He went to the Rams. I mean, that would make sense, I guess. He sits a year behind Stafford. Stafford is returning for one more year at least. So you draft a young quarterback to sit behind him because you're gonna have to make a change there unless you find another willing trade partner. I don't know. Interior offensive lineman Emmanuel Pregnon went to the Broncos. Brandon Cisse, the cornerback, went to the Patriots. That's crazy. I guess they're just trying to make the most dominant cornerback room. And last pick of the draft of the first round, Monroe Freeling went to the Seattle Seahawks. All right. So, guys, once again, where we at? We at the mock machine.com. Go there, sign up, do your draft, right? I'm going to be updating it after the combine, just so I can get the risers and the fallers in there. So that, because now all it's doing is like, oh, it's got pro day. Oh, this guy did well at his pro day, whatever. But now we're going to have the combine numbers in there as well. So it'll be a little bit more realistic. GMs falling in love with guys that they saw in their underwear. Pause. I know that sounds really pause. Okay. That was very pause worthy. But yeah, so I'm going to update it. When's the last day of the combine? Is it tomorrow or is it Sunday? Whenever the last day is, I'll update it and then it'll be more accurate and you guys can play around with it. I should have asked what the Lions did in free agency. That makes a difference with your picks. I didn't do the GM mode. I just did the draft. So yeah, the GM mode, I mean, we can do that one day together. I just have to make sure that I uncache my machine, which is crazy that it's cached on my machine. They have the best doctors in LA. Stafford plays till he's 42. He might, I guess. We need to either see Caleb Downs drop to 17 or we got to trade up for him, says Ryan's reaction. I mean, if you want Caleb Downs, I think you're probably going to have to go get him. I don't think that he's going to fall to 17. But stranger things have happened. There could be a run on offensive players. There's definitely not going to be a run on quarterbacks because, yikes. Yikes, bro. There's like Mendoza and that's it. Sunday, okay, Sunday's the last day. So I'll make sure that that I do that. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I really need to take a nap before I start the rest of my day. I've been up since 5 a.m., so that's about 8 hours and I only slept for about 3. So, it is what it is. I'll be on the grind. But once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. Appreciate you all for hanging out throughout the week. And we will see you on Monday. Peace.